Welcome to the podcast, everybody.
What are we called again?
That line perfectly sums up our podcast. You check that. I don't know off the top of my head because for context, we were gonna be called, I believe, the It's Whatever podcast, but somebody already had that name, so we came up with a new name, and I don't remember the name, and apparently neither does Vivian. Off to a great start.
Oh, it's called Our Dumb Thoughts.
Right. Yes. Very accurate. Yes. Welcome to the Our Dumb Thoughts podcast, where we talk about dumb stuff.
And
Yeah,
sure.
that's about it.
Well, we talk about our
Oh,
dumb
yes.
thoughts and our dumb lives.
So self-critical.
Yes. Alright, Jackson, why don't you tell everyone about yourself?
Well, hello. My name is Jackson. I'm a boy.
You're not a man?
I'm a man. I'm a big nerd. I like nerdy shit. So if y'all like nerdy shit, hit me up. I don't know. I'm just chilling in quarantine, not really doing much. Yeah. Now, Vivian, tell them about yourself.
Alright, my name is Vivian. I am also a nerd. And right now, I'm going to be entering my third year once we hit fall term at Portland State. And I'm majoring in biology, minoring in chemistry, and I'm also a pre-med student. Try saying that 5 times fast.
I guess I should mention, yeah, I'm going to school at PCC, hoping to eventually study some zoology.
An aspiring zoologist.
I like animals. What can I say? Yeah, and what were you thinking of talking about today? I believe we were thinking about talking about like stereotypes and mental health, right?
I think we're just gonna introduce ourselves and talk about why we started the podcast. That's what I'm seeing.
Oh, okay. I looked at the thing and yeah. Well, to keep going off how what we got started earlier, I guess I'll discuss why I want to go into zoology maybe a little bit. You think that's a good
Go
idea?
for it. I mean, we're talking about ourselves. This is so unlike us.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I just want to double check. Anyway, so I've always liked animals ever since I was a little wee lad. I always went to the zoo, and I was always like, they're all so cool. Like, I really will just want to work with them. So I've always wanted to be either a zookeeper or a zoologist, and just kind of the dream. It's working up slow there right now because I've had a whack school experience in college, but that's fine. Don't worry about it.
This is probably going to be our most awkward episode because we're talking about ourselves and not something else.
Yeah, and it's the first one, so we're dipping our toes in. It's fine.
We don't even have any quote unquote equipment. We're just using our phones.
Hey, it's 2020. Phones are equipment. Hell yeah, the 2020 experience.
I know.
All right. So, what inspired you to do your studies, Vivian, of like biology and chemistry?
I don't like chemistry. I just decided to minor in it because it was convenient. Because of my pre-med classes that I needed to take, I was basically one class away from a minor. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm a minor in chemistry now.
And how about biology?
I was one class away, so it's like, why not? Biology, I don't know. I took IB biology in junior year of high school. And I don't know, there's just something really about it that really interested me. Like, freshman biology was just like, you dip in your toes, and the only thing I remembered from that was literally what a chromosome looks like. Not even what it was, just what it looked like.
Valuable information.
I know, that's really dumb. I know, I learned so much. I don't know how I got straight A's sometimes. Like, I don't remember anything from that time. But, like, yeah, I really liked learning about the content, especially when we were doing genetics and stuff, like, or the cells. Oh, my God, those are my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Look at me nerding out here. And I don't know, I also do remember a lot of you can't do this type of stuff from the table I was at, but I also had a pretty horrible table. They weren't the best people.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the reputation that those people had.
Ew.
At least the one person that was in our grade.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna name names. I can tell you later.
We don't want to roast people publicly.
Yeah, but also at the same time, who on earth is gonna listen to this?
Well, plot twist. You name the person, and they're the first ever person to watch our podcast, and they're like, "What?"
I would find it weird if they were. I'd be like, why
Agreed,
are you
yeah.
following me? Because I'm
away.
not friends with them. We're not even in the same we were never in the same social groups. I don't know. I think they were more like an outcast or a lone wolf for our class.
Remind me, and is this freshman year of college or high school?
This is junior year of high school.
Oh, okay. I missed the. I missed that.
College, no one's really. That's fine. College, no one's really told me I can't do it. It's actually really like college is so much nicer than high school. Like you get to choose what you want to do, and you're surrounded by people who are very very similar minded, or they have the same similar aspirations as you. You know, like they're driven in the same way.
Exactly. That's why I feel like. Well, aside from the stress of paying and stuff, that's why I feel everybody's usually a lot happier at college because they're actually there because they want to be. Instead of just being like, oh, I'm forced to be here. You know?
Yes. I would never push college onto someone who doesn't want to do it and doesn't like school. But if someone's like, I don't know what I want to do, and they're kind of like, you know, they're back and forth. They don't have like a giant disinterest in learning.
Yeah.
Like they don't like completely hate school or anything like that. I think college would be a good experience for them. Like if you're not gonna go for the degree, go for the experience, I would say.
Exactly, yeah. And going off that, I definitely recommend anybody who is just starting off in the college experience, start off with community college. Not only isn't it cheaper, it's a good way to just kind of dip your toes in.
But if you're gonna go to like a university, you know, check out the scholarships and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know about like scholarships from the school until the deadline was passed, and that really like infuriated
Same
me.
here.
Like, they have a lot of, like, PSU has a lot of like, scholarships that are more oriented towards like freshmen, and they're like focused on freshmen and transfer students. So like, if you're like an incoming student and you might get one of those scholarships and not the scholarships that are available to everyone.
Yeah.
Like, there are scholarships dedicated to different, like, classmen. Like, there's some dedicated to the upperclassmen, there's some dedicated to the underclassmen, there's some for everyone, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And you'd be kind of surprised how, I don't know if I'd say the scholarship application is hard, but I would just say it requires a lot of, like,
effort.
Fine-tuning your essay. Like,
yeah.
I have dedicated essays for questions that are like common in the application.
Yeah.
And I just edit them every year instead of write a brand new one. Like,
I feel
quality over quantity.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's a very good idea, and because it'll help with stress.
Oh yeah, I am surprised I was ever chosen for any scholarships for next year. Honestly,
I remember. Yeah.
I am very bad at accepting my achievements and considering them achievements rather than question why someone chose me for them, you know?
You're like, I'll never get anything. And then somebody gives you something, you're like, why did you give me this? What is your agenda?
And then I feel like there has to be more than a reason of, I believe in you.
That's fair.
It's like, that's BS. I need more. Like, give me a 10-page essay on why you chose me. There's pros and cons to both. Like, there's not very many community colleges that do the 4-year degree that most people need. Like, you can't do very much with an associate's. It's that bachelor's that you really want if you want, like, you want to boost your potential income, you know? It's kind of crazy how big of a difference a college education has on your future salary. But at the same time, it's also where it costs so much. So, like, I kind of hated how, like, when we were in high school, like, when I was, like, getting more in... Oh, I never really saw my counselor that I was assigned. I only met with him, like, 2 other occasions outside of the mandatory meetings. And they were both... It was either about scholarships No, they were both about scholarships, I think. Because I was really worried about finances. Because I'm a
Yeah.
first generation student. I do have cousins that are in college, that are or were in college. But like, they they didn't tell me anything about the process or anything. I kind of had to figure it out on my own. I also
No.
was too busy to even
I feel that's a bit
dedicate
counterintuitive.
Google search rabbit holes to learn about it. I mean, I do that now more with like medical school because
That's
I'm
fair.
like more passionate about that than just going to college. Like, I was like, I already know where I'm gonna go. Do I have to really think anything beyond that? That kind of bit me in the butt with scholarship money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I had the
Oh, yeah.
finances. I got at least
I know that
one
feeling.
other scholarship, which was nice for the first year.
Yeah. And you get a good amount
I
this
have
year.
most of my
Yeah.
tuition covered. Not all of it, but most of it.
Yep. Yeah. With me, it's just complicated because I had a lot of complications with FAFSA that I won't get into. And,
All right, Jackson. So, for your future career, what exactly do you aspire to be? Like, we already know you want to go into zoology, but what do you want to do with that?
yeah. That's a good question, Vivian. I want to be I really want to be like a zookeeper, specifically at the local Oregon Zoo, because it's a really nice zoo with good conservation programs. That, or I'd like to be like a zoologist, or like something to do with conservation around the world. Just help animals to not go extinct, because like, to put it bluntly, like, let's not extinct things. That's kind of rude.
Do you think you'll ever go into like research or anything?
Yeah. Maybe. I'm not against it. I just don't know off the top of my head.
A lot of people, like,
Maybe.
no one really knows what to expect for research until they actually get themselves into it, honestly. Like, I had some idea of what to expect because
For
of
real, yeah.
the diploma program, but then like now that I'm helping out with the research lab, I'm getting a better idea of the scientific process, and I do really like it. I kind of wonder how, like, if I did continue that in like a career sense, I kind of just wonder how I would make that work, because I don't know. But also, I'm just a little old undergrad. That's more stuff you do when you're getting your doctorate. That's many years to come.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Darn it, I lost my train of thought.
That's fine.
Curses!
We're like that. Let's see.
Yes.
I could talk about why I want to go into medicine, I guess. I only talked about biology.
Go ahead. Oh, pardon me, everybody. I am
overslept.
sleeping.
Yesterday
I
underslept.
underslept.
Yes, they have.
How the tables have turned.
Let's see. So, it all started when I was a wee middle schooler, and then before that, I was a little 5-year-old wanting to not do what my parents wanted to do. So, like, I'm not gonna name races because I'm kind of curious what race people are gonna think we are. Because you can't really tell just hearing someone.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like I
don't
sound
know how
pretty
I sound. I don't have
white.
an accent. I have that good old American accent.
What American accent?
What we
aka no
consider.
accent.
I don't know why people would consider our accents the standard accent, like the
Well, no,
Western
even
accent.
like.
Why is that the standard?
Well, for me, it's not even. It's a standard accent, like the west. Well, specifically Northwest, like our Northwest accent. It just doesn't have any
boring.
flair to it. I guess you could say it's just Like, it just sounds so. It's just flat. Oh yeah, it's just flat. There's no like ho 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 les France. That might be racist. Sorry. That. There's nothing like that.
Yeah,
you know.
But like you go to UK or something.
Apologies.
The British accent isn't an accent to
ahead.
them. It's an accent to us. So weird. Like, so.
Oh no, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apologies if you have any
I
French
doubt they
viewers.
would be listening to us. Yeah.
You never know. We could have a cult
How
following
would we have a
in
cult following
Paris.
when we're nobodies? I'm not. I'm just
Don't worry
questioning
about
your
it.
logic.
Bold
Yeah,
of you to assume I have
You're
logic.
gonna kind of need it if you're gonna go into like a scientific career, Jackson. Yeah.
Debatable. I'm kidding. Very logic
Okay,
is needed,
so I
everybody.
guess with the description of my childhood, I'm gonna sound very much of what I am. So my parents very much wanted me to go into STEM. So like, become a doctor, become a lawyer, become an engineer, or a dentist, one of those. The huge.
Yeah.
But also that's like any person of color's experience, I feel like. Like I feel like that's what most immigrant parents just want their kids to be.
Oh yeah.
They want
Well,
the
yeah,
best.
they want
yeah,
their
they want
you
they
know
want
they
them
want their
to
kids
have
to
the
have
stability they never had.
yeah, they want
Yeah, I understand that, but I just
exactly.
kind of wish there was a way for them to understand that there's other ways to get that financial stability that they want. It's just the lack of understanding, I feel like. But because of that, I was like, I
agree,
refuse
yeah.
to become a dentist. I refuse to become an engineer. I refuse to be a lawyer. Refuse to be a doctor. And like, but then like, I looked at some of my old like elementary school stuff, and I like wrote down I wanted to be a dentist and stuff. Mostly because I knew my mom was gonna see it. So I was like, I'm gonna write these because that's what she wants to see, but that's not how I feel. But like once I hit like middle
Same.
school, I started my uncle, like, he had that brain aneurysm. He ended up in the neuro ICU for like a month.
Oh yeah.
And then I think he stayed in the hospital for a couple extra weeks after that. Or it was a month total. I don't know. It was a long time. Like,
Damn.
we literally went to the hospital every single day to check in on him because it was that bad. And the crazy thing is, he's the youngest
Wow.
sibling out of my mom's siblings. So he's a little younger than her. So he was like, let's see, probably in his 40s at the time, because I was in middle school. He was either in his 40s or late 30s, something like that. Yeah. But like him of all the people in our family had such a major accident. Like that was just like that could happen to any of us. That like just hit my head.
Oh yeah. Aneurysms. Aneurysms are scary. I met a dude when I was volunteering at the zoo. He was a staff member at the zoo. He got an aneurysm from exercising too hard.
Does a lot of physical
And it really messed him up.
His jobs require a lot. He does a lot of stuff that requires physical labor.
What?
Like he works at a factory.
That could have
works
been
in the warehouse. But then also he's also like he's not an official contractor, but he can do that stuff that contractors usually do. So like the family, like we'll ask him to help build us stuff that we need, like for home improvement projects. And I think he has friends and stuff who ask him to sometimes, and he'll come on his day off and work on it with, for me with my dad and stuff.
That's nice,
it's really nice.
He's the resident
but at the same
handyman.
time, it's like he does a lot of physical labor, so like that would explain that. But that whole experience was just like eye opening. I was like, oh my god, his medical care team are like on top of it. They all care about him. They're doing the best that they can, and I just thought that, and they were also were trying to reassure us that it was gonna be okay. Like that whole experience was like, okay, I want to go into healthcare. At the time, I mostly thought about becoming a nurse because I was like, oh, I want to console families. But then I got more into high school, and I was like, I'm not that good with people. I don't want to be that close to people.
Yeah.
The double whammy.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword. But then also we had a doctor come into Cleveland. I think it was during our junior or senior year. I don't remember when I made the switch. But she talked about how she was able to do research, meet with patients, and teach at the same time. Like all three. I was like, oh my god.
That is pretty.
I want to do those. I
That's-
want to be able to I want to have a career where I can research, teach, and practice. You know, I was like,
Yeah,
this
that's pretty.
is the heavenly combo
That's
of
pretty
all
cool.
of the things I love.
Like, the triple whammy.
So
The
yeah,
wombo combo, you could say.
that's how I got done. That's how I got done. That's how I got to the combination of, oh, I want to be a doctor, not a nurse, basically. Okay.
Alright. Seems we both lost a train of
What
thought.
else is there to talk about?
Fudge. Well, what sort of, we're talking about ourselves, so what sort of
Yeah.
things,
We can go over an hour to cut out the awkwardness.
what'd you say?
I said we can go over an hour
Maybe.
to cut out the awkwardness
So what-
too. Like, we don't have to, like, it's not literally keeping the whole audio file. Chop out the awkward things and silence the parts where we don't need to overlap.
What sort of things interest you? Like, what are your, what like, hobbies?
Okay, so how about, what are you
Well,
into
because it's
recently?
quarantine, I've been gaming too much, way too much. Probably, I'd wager honestly, at least per day, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 7 hours. I'm gonna be real. Just because also just because of other reasons. I've been, because of world reasons, you know. I've been kind of unmotivated. Yeah, I've been unmotivated, so I've been
Chaos,
just,
we call
well,
this
whatever,
Earth.
gaming. And, yeah, just mainly been doing that. I've been,
Yeah.
that, watching movies. I watched, whatchamacallit, My Neighbor Totoro yesterday. That was fun. How about you? What are you up to?
So, just like you, I've been up to a lot of gaming. Let's see.
We're gamers.
I already mentioned it, but I did start working with a research
Oh,
lab
yeah.
for free. So I'm helping, I don't know what the word to use is. I'm assisting with a biology education research lab. I didn't even know that field existed until last year, honestly. Because I had the professor I'm working with is the professor I had for my principles of biology class in spring term. But she talked a lot. She talked a bit about her research, and it was really interesting. I just really liked her as a professor and as a person. She just seemed like a really cool person to have as a mentor or something. I just thought she was really cool.
That's
you know?
that's nice to get her again then for the research. Excuse me.
Yeah. It was also really nice to be able to, like, help out with her class last term, which was really fun. Filled a little biology hole in my heart because I didn't take a biology class.
You were
There
lusting
were
for
none
some
that I
nice
needed,
biology.
weirdly. I literally was.
No, I know.
I really was, though.
Lusting.
I mean, you haven't even
I
taken a
know, I
biology
miss-
course yet, so your
I
biology
know.
hole
I
is
can
very
feel
big.
it. It's in my heart. It's shaped like a piece of DNA.
Like, the hole in your heart for biology is like 90% of your heart, isn't it?
Yeah. I also, excuse me, not piece, strand of DNA.
I mean, it does help that you do watch a lot of animal videos. I hope that satisfies it a little bit.
Yeah, oh, very much so. I love watching interesting and or cute animal videos, like that red panda I sent you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I saw their babies, like, the other day. I sent it to you.
Yes, you did.
So
I love the way the way the mama just kind of starfish, distressed, just like, oh, I'm tired.
I also sent
And,
to
like,
another friend
relatable.
who I know loves watching cute animal videos.
Who doesn't like watching cute animal videos?
There are people out there, I
Monsters.
think. I don't know. I don't
Monsters.
like go seek them. I don't actively go seek them out, but when they're on my feed, I'll watch them.
Oh, animal videos. I thought you meant you were gonna you don't seek out people who don't want to watch animal videos.
No,
and I was
I'm
like,
saying
what?
I don't go actively Google for them.
Yeah,
They show up, they show up.
agreed. I like looking for them
Yeah.
because I have some that are like saved in my brain. Like I remember, like there's one where these little bats, they get wrapped up like burritos in little blankets, and it's cute.
Yeah, you got all the animal facts. I don't. I just got the stuff that you would do in a lab.
Hey, should I hit our audience with a random animal fact?
Sure, go for it.
Which one should we go for?
I don't know these facts. Why are you asking
No, I'm
me?
thinking. I'm thinking aloud. Sorry. Give you a twofer. So first one, it's kind of funny. These because all animals have scientific names. Like the wolf is Canis lupus. So the gorilla's scientific name is gorilla. Real creative, guys. Real creative. And then second creative fact? Yeah, sure, why not? I don't know if it's all koalas actually, but a good chunk of the koala population in Australia has chlamydia, the sexually transmitted disease.
Ew.
It's not very good for them.
Who on earth would
And that's
want
been your
that?
daily animal facts. That's been your daily animal facts.
I hope someone wasn't eating.
What?
I hope someone wasn't eating when they heard that.
If they are, that's their problem.
Yeah. I find it really funny how I never understood how people were not okay with being grossed out while eating. Like, that was never a problem for me. I was like, I don't care. But I don't understand that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, is it like they're eating the food and they're hearing these gross things and they start seeing their food as that or something? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, what do you start seeing your food as the koala with chlamydia?
No, that'd be really bad.
It's like, well, that would be exponentially bad. It's like, why are you eating a chlamydia-ridden koala? That's not good for you or the koala. Put the koala down.
Oh, that's just so gross.
Moving on.
Thoughts on the iPhone versus non-iPhone?
I think I prefer iPhones from my experience. They're just like, they got a lot of neat, nifty features, and they're pretty convenient, so it's like, yeah. Definitely, in my experience, a lot less problems than Android, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never used an Android, so, like, I'm kind of just biased in that sense, because I've never had the experience. I just prefer iPhones, because I'm comfortable with them. Like, I do use a lot of Apple products.
Hey, Apple, sponsor us. Look.
Us? College
Yeah, look, we're
students?
using Apple products. She's wearing AirPods. Sponsor us, Apple. Look, Tim Cook. She's wearing AirPods.
Okay, I do have to admit the AirPods was a purchase I was thinking about for a while, but I find it really weird. My impulse purchases are just me buying things that I was procrastinating on buying.
It's less of an impulse purchase and more of a premeditated purchase. Like, it's premeditated murder, but instead of murder, you're buying something.
I know, so, like, it's not even that impulsive. It's just, I'm finally gonna do it.
It just feels impulsive.
Yeah, originally I wasn't gonna get AirPods until, like, closer to when I was gonna go to medical school as, like, a treat. I was like, oh, I got it. Reward myself.
Yeah, and then you're like, nah, I'm gonna get them now.
I know, because we're doing online school, and it's so much easier to be able to wear headphones and hear them. Like, the headphones, the sports headphones I originally bought were, like, the $20 ones. I'm definitely just going to use those if I'm biking and want music or need directions. I would not bike with AirPods on. I'm too scared of dropping them and losing them.
Oh, yeah.
Not worth the
can
price
understand
if
that.
I'm going to do that.
I
would probably wear them. I would probably wear them in a gym, though. Because then I can keep track of it.
Yeah. I will say, with impulse purchases, I feel like, at least with me and you, I'd like to definitely ask some other people. I will ask them and then report back next time. I feel like impulse purchasing has definitely gone up in the pandemic. I know it has for me. I have spent a bunch of money on gaming impulsively. Like, whew.
Like, I literally didn't hear half of what you just said.
Oh, I was just talking about how
and then pandemic.
I'm gonna ask some people and report back in next time, but I feel like impulse buying has definitely spiked in the pandemic. Impulse buying.
How, what, who?
Yeah, like I was just saying how I've definitely impulse bought a lot of gaming stuff. Like I've spent a bunch of money on gaming in the pandemic. Like for example, I bought this here Nintendo Switch and then I got Animal Crossing, Smash Bros, Breath of the Wild, and Drumroll, please. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Oh, I mean, it's fine. It was a good purchase.
I did kind of pressure you to get one. Yeah, let's see, I bought Animal Crossing. I was on the fence about whether or not to get it originally. Like, if there was no pandemic, I probably wouldn't
remember
have
you
bought it,
saying that.
honestly. Because I would have been too busy
And then
to
you were
play
too
it.
busy to play it anyways.
But then the pandemic happened. It's like, great. But then, like, I was like, it was really funny. Like, I found it really funny. You were like, oh, you were even thinking about getting it for me for my birthday. I was like, oh, I would probably not buy it.
Well, yeah, because you kept talking about asking like talking about getting it. Excuse me. And my whole thing is I love getting friends
Yeah.
gifts for their birthday, but nobody ever says anything they want. So you said that, and I was like, holy shit! Now is my fucking chance.
And then, like,
Let's go.
I was like, oh, I'm probably not gonna buy it. And then the next week I bought it.
And I was like, oh, okay.
I also specifically
Yep,
told you not
exactly.
to get it for me.
I know
was
that's
like,
why I didn't get it.
Jackson,
Yeah.
$60.
Well, because I remember
You
I
have
was
no
I was thinking
income
I
now
was thinking of
because
getting
we
it, and
don't
I was
have
like, eh.
jobs.
Well, I was thinking of getting it but then I realized like, oh, knowing her, she's probably already got it, and it's just like on the way being shipped.
Oh
So
no,
I'm like,
get
yeah, no,
digital
never mind.
purchases during the pandemic.
And then I
I
was
would not
right.
go physical at this time.
I just go
mean,
digital
yeah,
all the
I
time.
don't know. I kind of like the whole changing out the cartridges, and it takes up less memory, so you can save more space.
That's what I was gonna say.
There's
Actually,
pros and
I'm
cons.
like, yeah. Actually, for Nintendo Switch, I might go some physical. Like I have Smash Bros. On
I
physical.
just never changed the game out really.
But yeah, but for my PlayStation, I am completely 100% digital. Yep, exactly.
I definitely
Thank
think
you,
they
Sony.
sacrifice
Sponsor us.
space for the upgrade for the the newer features that you have for the Switch. Like there's very little battery life. I think it's revolutionary in a way though.
Excuse me. Oh yeah. Yeah, especially on the this here light. Oh yeah, it's great. I love the light. It works pretty well. The graphics look great,
I
and
meant,
it's
like, the
mobile as
original
heck.
Switch, like,
I can
the
fit it in my
ability
little
to
satchel,
dock
so
and
it's like hell yeah.
undock that easily. That's gonna be a big game
Oh, yeah.
changer in the future. Like, how is Nintendo gonna
I
top
know
that
it.
also? Like, I kind of wonder how. Like, are they just gonna improve it? Like, how would that work? Yeah.
I feel like possibly I do kind of feel like the Switch is their magnum opus. Like it is kind of like I don't know. It feels like I feel like it definitely combines a lot of their best features of everything into one. Nintendo is a great company. My favorite thing is how, because a lot of other game companies, like you play like Skyrim or your Battlefields, those are two of my favorites. They can be pretty glitchy. I have never, off the top of my head, never once encountered a glitch in a Nintendo game. I think about it and I'm like, wow. I've never. Like, it's crazy.
For me, like, I feel like at that point though, with like non-Nintendo games, I just go Steam. Like, it'll carry over on my computer and everything. Like, it's not the
Yeah.
it's not the platform that needs to upgrade, it's my computer that needs to upgrade.
Yeah. I prefer, I like PlayStation because it does carry over too. It's going to carry over to PlayStation 5 too. And I just
Usually
like it
they
because
don't carry over is my issue.
yeah, no, they've said for PS5 just because of how it is with the PS4, they're gonna carry over your stuff and let you play it on
That's
the PS5, which is good because if they didn't, it just wouldn't make sense. But anyway, I just like I like PS4 more because I just like consistency and it's very consistent. Because like a PC, it
I
doesn't
like
help my
the controllers.
it doesn't help with my PC is a literal potato, not a literal potato, but you know what I mean. So I don't get a lot of consistent. It doesn't consistently work. So I like the PS4 because 99% of the time it consistently works. Like my games will crash like occasionally, but that's just normal. So like
Yeah.
I just like it because I don't have to worry about like the internal components and such. Like, oh no, I gotta upgrade my graphics card. I just play it and it works.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't had a PlayStation in so long. That's correct.
Excuse me. Oh yeah, I know this. I do know you like the controllers though, like you said.
I
which
know, my hands are so small.
Well, the PS4 controller is also nice because the Xbox sticks, at least for the 360, like one's up here and the audience can't see my hands. One's in the upper left and one's in the lower left, and it's so weird. Whereas the PlayStation, the sticks are symmetrical, which I much prefer.
I think at that point it's just whether or not you're used to it. I don't think it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
replacement. It's just your
Oh yeah, it's
level
not
of comfort.
it's not necessarily too big. It just kind of bothers me.
My friend, he's more of a fan of Xbox controllers, so. But I think it's more about like
Excuse me.
for me, it's more about hand size. It's not as much about placement. Like, I think
Yeah.
I don't like the Nintendo Switch. Like their joystick is opposite and stuff, and they work just fine.
Oh yeah.
So like, I think it's just more about the way the controller is shaped.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, that also.
You didn't notice.
Also, you have the disadvantage of teensy hands, and I have the advantage of humongous hands.
Yeah, at that point, like considering just hand size, an Xbox controller would probably be more comfortable in your hand.
Yep, I
You
used
literally
to.
have that type of format with a Nintendo
Excuse me.
Switch, so it's kind of like. So do you hate the Nintendo Switch?
No, I didn't realize it was like
positioning?
that, and then I looked over my Switch. I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I used to have when I was
You're
younger,
kind
and
of like kind of like criticizing yourself.
yeah, no, I realize that now. But when I was younger, I had a Xbox 360, and man, that was a good console. The best thing about Xbox is Halo, by far. If you're gonna get an Xbox audience, get it for Halo. And even maybe not
Get
then,
it-
because they're releasing Halo on PC now. Halo 3 just came on a PC. But Bungie
Yeah, I was
sponsor
gonna
us.
mention that.
You were gonna mention that?
Yeah, because I saw
Yeah.
it. I saw it like a couple days
Yeah,
ago.
it is just because of that, at some point, not anytime soon because of the pandemic and economic issues, at some point I am going to get a good gaming PC maybe, or like a gaming laptop because I want to play Halo, because I miss it. I have a
Yeah.
biology-shaped hole
And
in
then
my
you
heart.
could join me on Borderlands.
I have a biology-shaped hole in my heart, and I have a Halo-shaped hole in my heart.
Yes.
And you could join me.
Um,
You could join me in Halo.
I'm probably not gonna get Halo.
I mean, I could share my library with you. It's real easy to do on Steam.
Yeah, it's just because it's a very old version from what I've been hearing, isn't it? Aren't they like on Halo 10 plus or something?
No, the next one's gonna be Halo 6, or out of the numbered Halos, it's gonna be Halo 6, but there are two spin-offs, so it's technically Halo 8. But no, yeah, it is a Halo 3. It is older, but it plays really well, and they updated the graphics. Like that's the whole.
That's true. That's true. I did think about it.
And
but
honestly, in my opinion, the older Halos they're much more fun to play than the newer Halos because the older Halos are very distinctive. There's no sprint, there's no aiming down. Well, you can look down, like you can aim in a scope, but there's no iron sights. There's no, like, you're just basically hit fire the whole time. There's no sprint. You jump kind of high because you're a super soldier. It's very distinctive. And like starting with Halo Reach, they did add sprint in the game. At least in Halo Reach, it was an ability, so you didn't always have it, which I don't mind. But I definitely agree with people. It's like it's more fun to play the older traditional Halos, not to be like ugh, traditional.
I like being able to sprint. It just means I get to move faster.
Yeah. It is the funny thing though with the old games because Spartans, those are the like Master Chief. They are super soldiers, so technically in the old games you're just always sprinting.
Oh, okay.
Like that's why you don't understand. You're just like I think the insinuation is you're always sprinting, and it does make for.
Then what's the point of adding a sprint?
I don't know. You go even faster, like you overcharge, I guess.
What? You're going light speed?
No, but you do go pretty fast. I remember because they were like space ostriches in Reach, and I could like outrun them. And ostriches are pretty fast.
I mean, at that point, like if you're a super soldier and you're already sprinting all the time, you sprinting on top of your normal walking sprint speed.
Well, I remember. I think. Damn it! If only I had Reach to test it. But I think when you sprinted in Reach, you nearly go fast as like.
I
a
was gonna
car.
say, do you basically become a car?
Like think Captain America, yeah, minus the shield. And minus the shield, adding, I guess more like the Winter Soldier then.
I
'cause you
can't
have a
imagine
gun.
Captain America being the equivalent to the speed of a car, though.
He literally runs as fast as a car in Civil War. There's a scene where him, Black Panther, and Bucky are running down a highway.
I haven't watched many of the more recent Marvel movies.
I know it's just
So-
funny. It's like you say that, and it just popped my head of them. They're literally outpacing cars.
Like, let's see,
And I'm like, Vivian, I have something to tell you.
the last movie from Marvel I've seen was Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange was the only more recent one. And then before that, the last thing I watched was, like, The Winter Soldier or Iron Man 3.
Yeah. It's really cool how they did the effect of them running faster than cars. It wasn't CGI. They had this big treadmill on the road that was getting pulled by a truck, and they would run on it, and it made them really fast. And then they removed I guess there was CGI, because they removed the treadmill with CGI, and it looks so real, and it's awesome. Well, it is real, but yeah. And I'm like, I want to run on that treadmill. Will I fall and die? Yes. Will it be worth it? Yes.
You're gonna have to give me, like, if I was to run on that, you'd have to, like, first of all, get me to run. I'd probably walk at super speed. I hate running.
I can see that.
It's like, or
you're gonna be like,
you do something to convince me to run.
you're gonna be like those old, like, moms that just, like, power walk, but you're gonna be, like, super fast. You're like,
I hate running with a passion. You
I know,
that.
which is,
I prefer swimming.
I love running with
Just throw me into a pool.
I love swimming.
Preferably without sharks.
I do love, I do love swimming also. It's really fun.
It's so weird
My
watching
problem
you
is
swim.
I was hairy, so I was not hydrodynamic.
Well,
so I was struggling.
It wasn't even that. It was just your stroke.
Well, yeah, no, I was stroking bad because I wasn't hydrodynamic, and I wasn't used to be like, wow, I have to pull so much harder now.
Yeah, true. But I meant I was going more with your technique. It wasn't clean.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. My technique was all fucked up because I hadn't done it in a while, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, so much drag.
Yeah, I was mostly thinking about the fact that you hadn't done it since, like, what, middle school before that?
Yeah,
so,
well, because the last time I went swimming, I went in
10 years.
The last time I went swimming was in, because the pool we swam at was Mount Scott, and that was the last one I went to in middle school. I remember because I went in and I got out and I had a giant rash all over my chest.
Yeah.
So that's why we didn't.
Get a rash guard.
I think that's why I didn't go for a while. Yep.
Rash guard.
And it's funny right now, I'm like, I really want to swim and, like, practice right now, because of the weather, but pandemic.
I know, I miss swimming.
Curses!
I haven't swam since my last shift at work, basically.
Yeah, honestly, if I had a car, I'd probably be driving out and just, like, finding secluded places to swim, but I can't drive, so.
Yeah, I'm the only one out of our friends that has a license. I never understood that.
My problem was I was lazy about it in high school, and then I tried, and then I had that crash where I crashed in my garage,
Yeah.
and that kind of very much scared me off it for, like, a year,
Yeah.
and then this year I was like, I'm gonna try to get it again. Pandemic, and I was like, I'll wait.
I almost crashed into my neighbor's fence the first time I did something like that, honestly.
Nice.
But my mom
just like,
would
hello,
have her
neighbor.
hand on the emergency brake, so we were good.
Yeah, I was
to teach me where the brake was.
I was alone in the car because I used to I pull the car into the garage for my mom, and what I'd always do is I'd just put it in drive, take my foot off the brake pedal, and just let it ease in. But that day I had to steer around the yard debris bin, so I was like, oh, I need to accelerate to steer around it. Oops.
Yeah. Happens. You don't
kinda
know.
hurt.
You don't know how crazy that accelerate pedal is until you
for
press
real.
it.
That's what I learned. I learned it. I just tapped it. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, boom.
You never fully press it. You tap it.
I just said I tapped it.
I know. I'm just saying that's like when you're driving usually.
Yes, don't fully press on it unless you need to go fast.
You gotta be on the freeway.
Or running from something.
Yes, that too. Hopefully not. I'd be very concerned if you were driving away from the cops in a hot pursuit.
Oh yeah.
that
Grand Theft Auto.
That honestly seems like it'd be a fun thing to do, but at the same time I think I'd be really scared because I do not like weaving in and out of traffic. Those people scare me.
Well, also it's fucking, it's American cops, so yeah.
Yeah.
Not to get political on the podcast, but
I mean, you can. It's just our dumb thoughts.
no, it's fine. We don't have to. I just putting that in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would. Yeah. I know. I think a car chase could be fun as long as it was. For me, it's like a car chase could be fun as long as there wasn't actually any real danger. It's like, oh, hey, I'm chasing you.
Yeah, and like the cars that are driving are very far apart.
Or just do a car chase on an empty road. Yeah.
Oh, that too. But then there's no cars to swerve around.
I don't want to swerve around.
Yeah, I don't know. When
I
I'm being chased by
I
an
would always.
actual person, like, running,
Yeah.
I like being able to swerve
Yes.
around people because of my size.
Yeah, well, no, I love swerving on my bike. It's so fun. Like I don't I would definitely once I learn how to do it in a car it'll be easy, but it's so much easier on my bike because I can use my weight. That's why I definitely at some point in my life I want to ride a motorcycle
Yeah.
because I love riding my bike,
Oh,
and a
you've never
motorcycle is
been
just
on
a
a
bike on
motorcycle?
steroids. No, I've been on an ATV, not a motorcycle.
I've never been on an ATV, but I've been on a motorcycle several times.
Opposites.
I like
Yeah,
motorcycles, but I don't know how I would feel about driving one. But at the same time, I kind of
I
want
would
to.
feel I would feel fine about driving one. I would just definitely wear the full protection, like leather jacket
I'll
or
wear
a
the
thick
helmet where you
jacket,
don't know who
gloves,
I am.
the helmet. Well, it's less about that. It's more about protecting yourself. Jeans, boots, get that full protection. I always joke though. It's like if riding a motorcycle, my main hiccup would be Courtney and my mom because they would both simultaneously kill me before I was able to get on the motorcycle.
That's hilarious.
Well, maybe not my mom because my dad rode motorcycles, so maybe I could be like, look, I'm like Dad. Wee.
I'd probably be lame and get a
Yeah.
moped because I'm scared.
I mean, that's not lame. That's just fair.
Well,
Yeah.
I had like
Mopeds are
I
perfectly
had that
valid.
really bad burn when I was 5 on my leg because I was sitting on a regular motorcycle.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like you had a bad experience that turns you off from it. That's fair.
I don't want to put my legs near that tailpipe.
Yes, you don't want to. That is.
I still have like
Big
the
owl.
scar. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's very faded, but you can tell the skin is different. Like you feel the skin there, and then you touch my regular skin around it. It feels different.
I'm not gonna touch your skin.
Well, you're not even here. We're doing
Exactly.
this remotely.
Yeah, it's
I'm
funny.
just saying.
I know. I was joking around. I actually have a burn on my knuckle because I was cooking pancakes earlier, and my knuckle accidentally touched the pan, and I was like, "Ouch!"
That happened to me like yesterday, I think, but like my
Yeah.
fingers.
Yeah, and then I have a weird. It's funny. I was walking my dog Toby. She knows who Toby is. I'm just saying for you viewers. Last night or listeners, I guess. Last night, and I somehow managed to get a stick poke me in between my toes because I had slides on, and it really hurt. And then I was bleeding, and I was like, "Oh, come on, really?"
Good job. Gold star
yeah,
for you.
I wasn't expecting it. I was just nervous because I felt so semi, and I was like, "Please, God, don't. Let's hope that's not a needle."
Okay, but let's be honest here. We get in the weirdest accidents.
Yep. It
Like-
comes with clumsiness. Like that time where I was in woodshop class. So for years, I took woodshop class for like a year or two. The only thing I cut myself on, not a buzz saw, not a scroll saw, not a table saw. I cut myself on a soap dispenser. A fucking soap dispenser.
Right.
And guess what? Mr. Burns, my teacher, he still had to write down an incident report of it.
Okay, but remember how
Yes.
how I fractured my elbow? That was
Yes,
the
you were doing
dumbest thing
pull-ups.
ever.
Yeah, you're doing pull-ups.
I was literally doing a pull-up, and then I just fell. From,
Yep, just whoop.
like I was at the top of the pull-up, and then just fell.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
just gave
grip?
up. You're like,
What's
I'm.
grip? Hands?
You're just like,
I
I'm
don't
doing a
use
pull-up.
them.
I'm doing a pull-up. Nah, I'm good.
The funny thing is, like, at that moment, like, you know those kipping pull-ups that we did a lot? Like, I was getting more into the hang of it at the time. Like, I think that was the peak pull-up placement I was at. Like, I was able to somewhat mostly do them. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do kipping pull-ups. Even though I'm
Those
not
are
that
fun.
good at them, I'm just gonna practice them for this. Because
That's
I was
fine.
never...
Yeah.
I was in that weird stage, you know? I was like, I can easily do the modified ones, but I can
Oh, yeah.
barely do the actual ones. I can't do a real
Yeah.
pull-up. I'm too heavy. I don't have the
I
muscle for that.
I can do a normal pull-up, a couple, but kipping pull-ups I really like because they're pretty fun and they just kind of, I don't know. For me, it feels like they. I like kipping
It's all the
pull-up.
momentum.
Well, yeah, I like kipping pull-ups too because it feels like I'm like working other parts of my body too, which I like.
I like it because I feel like I'm swimming in a way because of the kip. It's like dolphin kick.
Well, yeah, the move. Yeah, the move. That's how I mastered kipping. I was just like, just do dolphin kick while
Yeah,
doing a
that's what I
pull-up.
usually tell people when they're like, how do you do it? It's like, you know how to swim, right? It's like, yeah, do a dolphin kick.
Well, yeah, it literally is
It
a dolphin
really is.
kick.
It's like,
It's great.
you know?
Dolphin kick is my. I'd say dolphin kick is my favorite swim move.
It's a kick. Okay, well,
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm like I feel
I
like a
like- I
mermaid.
like the stroke freestyle, but I do like dolphin kick.
Yeah, I like dolphin kick and
I
breaststroke.
hate breaststroke. That's my least favorite stroke.
Why don't you like
It's
breaststroke?
so slow. And like, if
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to
Well,
be a
I-
good breaststroker, you do less work.
Yeah.
It's all about glide.
Well, it helps for me with that because I have very long arms and very big hands, which work very well for creating thrust via
You know, the funny thing
breaststroke.
is my body type, because I have really big shoulders and really strong legs. I think I have more the body of a butterfly swimmer, but I'm
Oh,
a
yeah.
distance swimmer.
I mean, that works. You're defying the expectations.
No, I just thought it was funny. Like, just based on my body type, I look more
Oh.
like a butterfly swimmer. I'm not defying
Yeah.
expectations.
Well,
I still have big swimmer
Well, you're
shoulders.
defying expectations. Because everybody's like, oh, look, she's a butterfly swimmer. You're like, nah, I'm a distance swimmer. Suck
I
it,
mean,
nerds.
I think that's what people would usually think of at first. But, like, you know, that kind of goes away the moment you see what event I'm lining up for.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I
I just find it really funny when people, like, underestimate you sometimes. Like, I've told you about this, but, like,
Yeah.
there was that one time at, like, when I was still more into, like, the community center league with swimming with Portland Parks. I had, like my whole age group literally didn't think I was going to be fast because everyone who was participating wasn't really that fast or very good at swimming. And then there was me. I was like a separate category
Yeah.
from them. Because, like, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how I got good at swimming, but, like, I basically hit a point where I could do club swimming if I wanted to, but I never did it because, A, I did the cost, and B, I
Yeah.
was scared of the time commitment
Cost.
because I had all
Yeah.
these other things going on, too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like, a lot of, like...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
sorry. Like, a lot of former club swimmers I know, they
No, you're good.
literally quit because they were too busy to do it. Or, like, there was some type
Yeah,
of toxic dynamic going on.
Yeah. Sorry, I kept thinking you were done, and then you weren't done. I was
I was
like, oh,
pausing.
no. Yeah. Me with swimming, I was really into it as a kid. Not necessarily competitive swimming, but just like freestyle swimming. But I got really good at it, and I think I could have qualified to be a lifeguard, and then I just didn't. So
Yeah, I like based on
yeah.
how I don't know how you would be if we were to do it while we were in high school. I mean I did work as a lifeguard and stuff. I
I-
wouldn't recommend doing that as a job unless you were desperate.
Yeah.
I mean you were hitting
Oh
that
yeah.
point.
Desperate. Yeah.
It would have been interesting to work with you, honestly.
Yeah. I think if I can speak English, that would be fantastic. I think we would have been a good
Well,
team.
yeah, it's not just two people. It's literally everyone who's there.
Yeah.
I just think it would have been interesting.
Well, I
'Cause
know,
Then we
I'm just
could
saying.
gossip about the same people.
Oh yeah, it would have been.
But
We
you literally
could
don't know any
the
of these people.
tea. Well, if I was working there, then I would, and we could spill the
I
tea.
know. I do that with my cousins.
Yeah, I
and
do that
friends.
with honestly the person I mainly spill tea with is like you, really, honestly, you and Courtney
Yeah.
and Micah.
During quarantine or like in general?
General.
Okay.
Well, because like the guys and me, we don't really talk about that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Jobs?
no
Oh,
tea,
that.
like drama.
Oh, I was confused about what you were referring to. I was like,
Oh no, yeah, jobs. I can talk to anybody about
yeah,
jobs.
I was like, weren't we just talking about jobs?
No, I said something about tea, and then I just kind of went off with that. My bad.
It happens, especially when I'm not following.
On the topic of tea, hey Vivian, what are your thoughts on bubble tea?
I miss it. You knew the answer, yet
So-
you asked.
Our viewers don't know the answer, so for context, Vivian is obsessed with bubble tea. It is her
I
addiction,
have a problem.
which is fair. If y'all haven't tried it, try taro milk bubble tea.
It's
It'll
called
change
taro.
your fucking life. Taro,
Taro
sorry.
is not a thing.
It'll change your life. It'll change.
Uncultured.
Sorry, my white ass mispronounces things.
You're uncultured.
I'm white, okay?
I'm not.
Yes.
You established
Correct.
that. I said
What?
I'm not white.
Yeah.
We've already established that.
I wasn't saying you're white. I was saying I'm white.
I know. I'm just saying we've established
white
I'm
as-
not.
I'm part Swedish, so I'm white as fuck.
I'm 0% white as far as I know. I'd have to take a 23andMe test to
Yeah.
be sure, but I'm pretty sure there's 0 because, like, even with, like,
Yeah.
you know, Europeans taking over parts of Asia, they kind of left at some point, and that wasn't, like, that long ago. Like, that's enough time for it to be a
Yeah.
couple generations ago.
I'd say if you were to have anyone, I would say maybe like 1 or like 2% maybe. Because aren't your...
I don't think...
Isn't some of
I
your...
don't think my
Wait, isn't...
heritage is... I don't think, like... It would have been, like, Vietnam. It
Well, I
would have
mean,
been the French taking over. Well, okay, I basically just spilled what I am.
Yeah.
But, like, the French, like, took over Vietnam, like, what, in the 1800s? That's, like... That's only enough for, like, 5 generations
well, that's
or
why I'm
something.
saying... That's why I'm saying like 1%, yeah.
I don't think that's how the math works.
Well, okay, either way, it'll be a low percentage.
That's why I said I'm pretty sure it's like, as far as I know right now, it's 0%. Like, my mom's
Yeah,
Chinese, my dad is Vietnamese. That's all I got, man.
Yep. Yeah, my family is Croatian and Swedish.
Yep.
Or Croatia or Yugoslavia, whatever you want to call it, changes.
I don't know. This ain't my area. I got different types of Asian under my belt, mostly. I don't got Europeans. Y'all confuse me.
I'm getting pretty good with the different types of Asians.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just
At
because
least with,
I exist and I'm Asian.
Yeah. I just was like, we talked about it. I'm like, I'm going to try to master that because I feel like, Asian people I meet would probably appreciate that.
Probably.
Because I know I'd feel kind of weird if somebody came and was like, hey, you're French, right? I'd be like, no, what?
Yeah, I've had, like...
Excuse
I found
me?
it so hilarious. Like, before quarantine, when we still had school this school year, like, literally, like, people who've approached me asking me what type of Asian I am have gotten it wrong the whole, like, 100% of the time.
Oh, yeah. I feel like it's very common to happen, and I try to, that's why I always, instead of assuming, I always, like, when it's appropriate, I ask. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
what, maybe, like, I ask, because it's the same with, like, gender and stuff. I always prefer to ask, because I always feel awful when I get it wrong, because, like I said earlier, I like putting myself in their shoes. If somebody came and be like, hey, you're a girl, right? I'd be like, what? No, what? Excuse me. Like, for me, like, even then, for me, it's not that big of a deal, but for somebody who's, like, trans, who is actively trying to, trying to show that they identify as a guy, and somebody's like, hey, you're a girl, that, that hurts. That doesn't feel good. So that's why I'm like, I'm gonna try to, like,
I usually base it
ask
off of the way
first.
they present themselves.
That too,
But
yeah.
there are girls who, they have a very masculine looking, like, they dress very masculine, but they don't identify that way.
Exactly, tomboys.
I know.
Yeah.
I usually also base it off of the name they introduce me with. It's like, okay,
Yep.
you look this way, you introduce me this way, so you're probably going either they, them, or she, her, usually.
Yep. I feel like also them is it's a good middle ground if you are unsure, just just refer to them as them. I feel like that's good.
That's pretty normal.
Don't do it though. It is very
It's
rude.
not a dog. But that's how, like, Asian people refer to the dogs because of the way the language is, not because of what they are.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's fine.
That's literally just how it's translated.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, yeah, that's not a bad thing.
But there's so many different types of Asian people. Like, I know a good amount, but I don't know all of them, obviously. There's, like, so many.
Off the top of my head, I know Vietnamese, Chinese, Korean. If you want to, maybe we could do South and North Korean.
Who doesn't know about Koreans, though? Who doesn't know about Koreans, though? Like, K-pop is such a big thing.
Malaysians, Mongolians,
I can easily keep going.
Japanese,
Laos,
and then there's Yeah. Oh, Cambodian. How can I forget Cambodian?
Philippines, Thailand,
Filipinos.
Taiwan.
Uh, and then if you want to go, there's like the smaller, it's like the
Don't forget South Asia,
what are they?
actually.
The Uyghur.
Indian.
There's the Uyghurs in China. I believe they're called the minority in China.
Huh?
Do you know about the Uyghurs
No,
in China?
never heard of them.
Uyghurs. I believe they're a Muslim minority in China.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they're going through a lot of bad stuff right now.
Oh, right, with the what is the
camps.
I'm trying to remember where though. It's not Tibet.
No, it's in. I think it's in China.
I know it's in China, but it's like
in northern.
I know it's a region.
Sorry.
But that they're fighting over.
I want to say it's north. I think it's north. I want to say somewhere in northern China, but I probably
I'm
am
bad at
wrong.
geography. Last person you should ask. You've seen me try to guess geography.
I don't know. I'm mid tier. Other Asians though.
Don't forget South Asia. I don't understand why people
I know.
consider them like a separate thing. It's like they're part of Asia.
I said Malaysia at the beginning.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying in general. It's like, oh, you're Indian.
Sumatrans.
You're not Asian. It's like, yes, you are. It's part of Asia.
Oh, you're correct. Yeah, no, I completely skipped Indians. Indians are Asian. Tibetans, Nepal. Nepalese.
I don't
maybe?
know.
Nepal.
Sri Lankans.
Sri Lankans, Sumatrans, Borneo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, there's a very large amount of Asians. I'd wager probably I'd wager out of, if you want to say like all of the races, I'd say Asians are among the most diverse in terms of because they got the crazy disparity in climate from like if you go from like Tibet to Sri Lanka, there's such a huge difference.
And then like in China, just China alone, there's already over 50 different races of Asians in there.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like, at the same time,
especially because China has so.
There's also like a culture within a culture because like, my like original culture was absorbed by this bigger culture, but we're still our own culture, but we also follow this culture.
Well,
it's kind of weird.
Exactly.
Kind of like our friend.
Yeah, it's like what you because China has a very large amount of people, so yeah.
Like
Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that.
Like Vietnamese culture and Chinese culture, they're very similar in a way. Like, from what I understand from the history lessons I was forced to sit through, Vietnam, I think, used to be a part of China, but then it broke away. So, like, there's a lot of Chinese culture and Vietnamese culture, but there's, like, individual parts of it that make it different, Like, we don't do the Dragon Boat Festival and stuff like Chinese people. We do celebrate the Lunar New Year and stuff, though.
I'm theorizing maybe because I remember at least around the Chinese New Year, I remember there was a Korean New Year too, and it seemed very similar to China. So now I'm wondering
there's a Thai New Year also. There's a lot of New Years.
I wonder if they were both. I wonder if they were both also parts of. They were part of in part.
I mean, if they're, I don't know.
Excuse me, 1 second. I am having a stroke. I wonder if they were also both part of China at one point. Thai and Korea.
Aren't they kind of far?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm just like I'm just throwing out a theory. I don't know. I'm just like I wonder.
I don't know much about Korean culture because I'm not Korean. There's like no Koreans in.
Well, I know Korea I remember in the past hearing about how Korea was a power at one point, but I'm just thinking because China had such a huge empire. I will bet money. I will bet money at one point China did own Korea.
It probably did, and probably influenced some of their culture. I don't know that much about Korean culture, honestly. So
Yeah, I'm not much either. But fun fact about China, everybody. I read this book called, I believe it was 1406 or something like that. China discovered pretty much the whole world before white people did, and then white people were like, "Nah, we did it." There was one explorer named Hung Bao, I think, or Hung Bao. I want to say Hung Bao. I might be wrong. Anyway, he discovered a strait in, I believe, Antarctica. It was either Antarctica. No, it was Antarctica. He discovered a strait to like go in there. He discovered it. It was Hung Bao. He discovered a strait, but then some white asshole just followed Hung Bao's map later, found the strait, and named it after himself. And then Chinese, they discovered Australia. They met the Aborigines. They treated them with respect, and they were like, oh, there's already people living here. Let's not intrude here.
Isn't
White
there
people,
also,
they set one. They said what
Like,
yeah, I'll
I
get to
was thinking
that
of
one
something
second.
else.
But then white people, this John Cook immediately set one foot on Australia. He's like, I claim this for Britain, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, what
I
were
was
you
gonna
gonna
say,
say?
isn't
Sorry.
there also evidence that Chinese people went to the North Americas before, like, the Spanish did or whatever?
Yes,
Or
there
British?
is especially in South America, there is innumerable amounts of evidence. Pardon me. There are South American tribes that speak Chinese, and they have paintings of Chinese men. They used a specific color to describe them. But I'm not going to use it because it's bad. And they are like I remember in the book they wrote about how the Chinese they met the Incas. I want to say they met a big South American empire. And they're like, wow, they're so much like us. They have beautiful art as well. Let's be friends. As opposed to white people who are like, anyway, I started
Jackson, I think
blasting.
it's fine for you to refer to colors if you're talking about, like, historic context. Like, there's context.
I know. It's just because the color is still used as an insult for Asian people. So I'm like,
Yellow?
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Well, like in the painting, they saw the yellow men, and I'm like, I'm the good. I mean, I know I just said it, but I'm
I mean,
like, I'm
okay,
good.
you're describing something. It's not you. You're like quoting something.
I know.
It's fine.
I get. You're
Like,
correct.
Jackson,
Yeah.
there's a level
It
of
was
sensitivity
yeah.
where it's like you're so sensitive. It's like, can you even speak anymore? Like, I feel like people are being too sensitive
Well, I know I
sometimes.
can't speak. I know I can speak. It's just it's just because it is especially in history, yellow has been used as a pretty harmful insult against Asians. So I'm like, I don't want to perpetuate
Well,
that.
okay.
I know I'm not perpetuating it. I'm
I
just like,
understand where you're
it makes me
coming from,
uncomfortable too.
but for me, it's like, okay, if you're going to refer to it and you're talking about, like, something from history and you're quoting it, it's okay. But if you're, like, talking
That's true.
and then you
Ow.
start calling me a yellow person, yes, I'm gonna be offended. There's, like, a difference
That's
between
true.
the two.
I don't know. It's just with me. It's just with like race, especially with all like the different things people use. I always just like to play it safe with those because especially with race I really don't like to
Yes.
offend people with race
get
because
it.
it's not very
I
nice.
feel
So I'm
like
yeah.
that's fine.
But anyway.
I feel like
Oh,
when
sorry.
you get to the point where you're, like, too sensitive, it's more infuriating. It's like you can say it because of the context. Like, it's just really infuriating when people
I know,
don't
it is-
understand.
yeah.
Like, there's contexts where you can say it because of the context where you're talking about it.
Yep.
But then when you get to things that are not in that context, then yes, I'm gonna be mad. Like, it's just really infuriating when people
that's
don't
fair.
understand
Okay.
that. It's like by
Sorry.
not saying it, you're
Sorry.
making me mad. It's like, Jackson,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Anyway, but there's even more. They also like in South. Not to completely just yeet your point. I get you what you're saying. I just want to finish up my
that's
thoughts.
fine.
Sorry.
I was
But also, they found like
heated.
bits of like a. It's all good. They found bits of like Chinese pottery in South America. I don't remember much. I think they found some in North America too, because I think China they traded. I'm pretty sure they traded pottery for like food and stuff. They're like, but yeah, they found bits of Chinese pottery. Oh, how could I forget? They in North America, I think they found these stones with like Chinese carvings of them that they used to like mark things, and it's so cool. They're like these just like standing stones with carvings on them, and it's right out of like like a fantasy movie. It's like, what are these carvings? It just intrigues me so much. It's really cool. There's so many cool descriptions of animals from the Chinese explorers because there used to be giant ground sloths in South America. They found some giant ground sloths and they just took them with them on their ship. They're like, yeah, let's go show the emperor these. Hell yeah. I'm like, that's fair.
Yep. I'm so bad.
They didn't. I don't think the ship with the giant ground, because a lot of the Chinese fleets, exploration fleets, I think a lot of them just because they didn't make it back to China, unfortunately, just because a lot of harsh conditions,
Yeah, I get it.
And then when they came back, I think what was it? A big thing had changed, so like they were kind of just like they came back to China, and the new, I don't know if it was a new dynasty or something, but the new dynasty or something was like they came back and they were just like, whatever, like we don't care.
Yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
really bad at history. I'm the last person to talk to about
No, it's
history and
fine.
geography. I'll just
It's
look
fine.
at you and
I'm just
give
trying to
you a phone and like,
remember.
here, Google.
I'm just trying to think of other stuff. But yeah, no, it's so interesting how they. Well, it's especially amazing because not only did they explore the world earlier, they explored it with like not inferior technology, but they explored it earlier, so they didn't have all the technology available, but still fared so much better than white people. I'm like, wow. As a white person, I could say, white people, you're
Oh
fucking
yeah,
stupid.
I kind of agree with that to an extent, cause just from living in
It's
America,
like,
honestly.
well, I always joke with people, it's not an opinion, it's just a fact. Let's be real.
Yeah, it's still an opinion
I'm looking at you,
because there's
Karen.
always those people who are gonna have the
Oh, I know.
opposite. I just hate saying
I know,
something
yeah.
that's so
I
strong.
was,
It's like, okay, but there's still holes
yeah.
in saying that with such a strong intent.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
of
always more
course.
like
Yeah, with me, I used to.
instead of strongly agree, you know?
Yeah, I used to be like that, but just with all the pandemic stuff and like the
Mm-hmm.
Karens and the Kens, they're not usually, they are all white people. I'm just like, fuck white people. As a white person, fuck white people.
Yeah, that's not new.
They're just like, or correction, I guess I should say fuck white Americans, because this is not a problem in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
I was watching a, should I was watching another podcast last night. I know, traitor. Ugh. And there was a Swedish man. He was talking about like flat earthers and vaccine deniers stuff. He's like, yeah, this literally isn't. No, he wasn't Swedish. He was no, was he? Finland, Norwegian,
Europe.
something. He was like, yeah, this literally is not a problem here. Like, how is that a problem?
You know, something I never understood, like
It was actually
how like as far as I know, America's like the only nation that has like such a strong relationship to their individuality. Like everywhere else, that's more about the collective. I
Oh
never
yeah,
understood how that even happened.
America is. I don't even know either. We're just so
That's just the main
selfish
thing I
and just
hate about American
individualistic.
culture. I'm like, I love my
It
Asian
is. It
culture.
is the. Well, no, literally, individualism is the biggest downfall of American culture. It is the center of like the web
That's
of just
how we have all. That's why.
awfulness.
Well, like not saying there's no corrupt like governments out there, but that's how we're able to have like such a corrupt
Oh,
system, if anything.
oh yeah. Well, of course, There's corruption in every country. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
America. It is.
everywhere.
With America, the corruption is literally fueled by the
Yeah,
culture.
and it's everywhere.
Because everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna do everything for myself and only for
Like,
myself, it just backfires spectacularly. Like with masks, it's like they're like, I'm not gonna wear a mask because it protects myself. The irony is, if everybody wore a mask, everybody would be
yeah,
protected.
we would be more on track with like
It's
Britain
so
or something.
bafflingly.
We wouldn't have like
It's
travel
just no,
bans
literally.
on
There is
us.
a there is literally there was a director of some disease thing in the U.S. recently. I forget what director of what. He literally said like, yeah, if everybody wore masks, we could have this controlled in about 6 to 8
Nope.
weeks, easily. If
Like
everybody
literally,
wore masks.
we were flattening the curve, and now the curve has not been flattened. It's like it never happened.
Looking at you, Florida.
Texas.
Literally, it was aggravating. That podcast I was watching, one of the hosts there, he was just talking about like how Florida, it doesn't matter. He's like, oh, y'all he's from Germany. He's like, you Americans are just like dramatizing it up and just crying for attention. And two of the other podcast hosts are living in Florida. They're like, dude, we have 3 million cases here. He's like, and then the dude was like, cases don't matter, deaths do. And they're all like,
The
what?
cases do matter.
Like, it's like cases
'Cause they're
matter.
gonna
They're
lead to
still
deaths.
suffering and spreading the disease. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, they do.
We
Yeah, they matter
don't have
just
the
as much as
means.
deaths because
We don't have enough space. I'm just glad in Oregon
like,
it hasn't hit that level.
maybe this is this is kind of a hot take, but I'd wager cases matter more than deaths because cases actively take up ICUs and stuff. Not saying the deaths don't matter. The deaths still very much matter and very sad. I've been dealing with this a lot, but the cases, they take up hospital beds. They take up resources.
I think the cases do matter
So if
more.
anything, they're more
because
of a
when you hit a point with the cases where there's more cases than hospital space, there's going to be more deaths.
Exactly.
Like a lot of those deaths would have been avoidable.
Well, yeah, because they literally they have to choose who they
Yeah,
have
just
to
like
treat.
in Italy
which is
when they
no
first had
doctor.
like the strain, like when they first had the outbreak. That was
Yeah,
scary.
it's
Like,
just
they had people
saddening.
sharing
Like,
ventilators in New York and stuff at some point. But
yeah,
that was early on.
it's like fortunately, I think in Oregon, it's like it's not maybe not leveling out, but it's
It's
not
not
as
as bad,
bad.
but
It's like
also,
going
like,
down, I think. But
you
like,
literally go outside of Portland, it's like redneck Oregon at that point, basically.
yeah, yeah, I guess yeah, it's true. But like the South is just like to be blunt, the
Like,
South is
okay,
fucked.
like, a couple weeks ago, when we had to go to Portland, we were going up to Mount St. Helens to hike somewhere.
Oh yeah, you told me
Literally
that.
felt like I was in a foreign country. Because everyone around
Well,
wasn't
yeah, you were
social
telling me how there
distancing,
was
they
the
weren't wearing masks, they were acting like everything was normal.
and there was a Trump fucking billboard with a
Oh yeah, that
Bigfoot
was
on
so
it.
weird. And they had
It's
the
like, why
weirdest
do y'all
signs
think
there. I was like, is this what tourists are
I'm
supposed to see when they come through? That's just gonna put them off.
you? Yeah, like I'm sitting here like also bold of you to assume Bigfoot would support
Yes.
Trump. I don't think Bigfoot would have political
Bigfoot
beliefs.
probably doesn't
I'm
even
pretty
speak
sure
English.
I don't. Yeah, well, yeah, it's like I was gonna say he might like even if he is sentient, like he doesn't speak
He doesn't
English. Like
understand our ways.
it is funny. Yeah,
I
I do
feel
completely sign up for what we're talking about pretty much. I do honestly I do kind of with Bigfoot, but the big one I believe there are these things called I think I sent you the video called rock apes in Vietnam, and there are just so many documented reports of American soldiers being attacked by them. That and the villagers in the surrounding area are kind of like, yeah, they're real. Like they don't dramatize them. They're like, yeah, no, those are
uh-huh.
real.
I don't think you sent it to me.
And also the fact in Viet
I don't remember
what?
hearing about
Oh, I don't
this.
know if I did, but never mind. I'll explain in a second. But also, there were deer in Vietnam that everybody thought was a myth, and then they found the deer. Basically, rock apes in Vietnam, they were described as kind of like Bigfoot, like big,
Mm-hmm.
apes, and they were spotted a lot in the Vietnam War because they would just like throw rocks and attack American and Vietnamese soldiers because
They
apparently they're
took our
pretty
height.
aggressive. And there's just so much
Because you said they're big. I was like, they
what?
took our
Yeah,
height.
there's just so
We're so small.
there's so much just wait,
I said
small
I
what?
said they took our height. That's why they're all the Vietnamese people are so short.
Oh. But yeah, there's just so much documented evidence for them. Kind of same with Bigfoot, like a little less so with Bigfoot, but it's like I honestly believe those because also great apes are probably the most adaptable species on the planet, and especially in Vietnam because jungle and great apes often live in jungles, and there are great apes in surrounding countries. I think they do exist because also like animals are very good at
Yeah.
hiding, so. Like, it's always like people are like, oh, that can exist. I always find it very ignorant when people think of like, oh, science doesn't know it's real, so it doesn't exist. I'm like, well, science doesn't know everything. That's the whole point of science. We're still learning.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just like
I
I
definitely.
don't remember where I was going.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
don't remember where I was going with this.
Oh,
I
it's all
spaced
good.
out.
But it's the same for me with like ghosts and like I don't know about magic, but like ghosts and like supernatural stuff. It's like it like I've had ghost experiences also, but it's also like it very well probably exists. It's just like we don't understand it.
I'm
Like,
kind
there
of
could
like
be a
in
whole
the
nother-
middle about it. Like I could see them existing, but at the same time I'm not sure. It's just more like we haven't disproven with science you don't do experiments to disprove something. You do experiments to prove yourself wrong.
Well, exactly. But there's for me with ghosts especially, there's just like throughout history from all over the world, there's just so much evidence. I'm like, there's too much. Like obviously there are a bunch of ghost stories that are faked. But then I'm like, there is too much evidence globally for this to be
Like
fake.
it's something.
So either it's ghosts or it's
Like if it's not our dead
Yeah, it's
spirits,
something.
then what is it? We don't know. For all
Yeah,
we
I
know, it could be a
honestly- I do
parallel
kind of-
Earth communicating with us.
Well, that honestly, I always joke. It's like I don't want to sound the computer serious. I do honestly think it is something to do with like another dimension, like because even if it is our dead spirits, because they're coming from the spirit dimension.
For
I guess.
me,
I
it'd
don't
be
know.
just more like a
I
different,
do
like
like
yeah,
to
it'd
think
be
it
like
is
something
our-
like that, like a whole new, like a different realm that we
Yeah.
just can't communicate with.
Yeah, I honestly do like to think. Well, because people have communicated with spirits though, but I do like to think it is our dead spirits, like ancestors and stuff. Because I don't know. I just find that very nice. I guess like they're watching over us, like that K drama watch. But I also will also make sense because a lot of people describe ghosts as being like
Mm-hmm.
scared, especially kid ghosts, and I'm like, well, that would make sense why they're scared because they're all of a sudden in a new they're in a new realm and they're just
By
looking on at
themselves.
Earth and they're like, hey, can I go back? Yeah, they're like, please. Yeah, exactly. They're by themselves. They're so lonely. That's why like. If I ever get a chance to talk to a ghost, I'm gonna try to be really friendly because I'm like they're probably not having a good time. Like they're probably like scared and lonely and like what is going on? Ah, it always. I mean, yeah, it's real and like I definitely
Yeah.
believe in them. Yeah, definitely not everything though. Like I don't know about dragons.
I don't either.
Yeah, I feel like if there are reports of dragons though, I feel like it's either like a meal. I feel it's either like they saw a big lizard or something or like crocodile, and then throughout generations, like a game of telephone, it got overhyped. Or crazy theory, it might just have been a dinosaur, like one dinosaur that didn't go extinct. Not really. I covered a lot what I was gonna say. We definitely did go off topic, and that's fine. How about you?
Thank you to the one person who actually stayed this long.
That's a good point, also. But yeah, yep, that's kind of our podcast. Yeah.